When men are jealous of women, they will often compare women to each other, as in a man who is jealous of you will compare you to another woman. You often see this happen in the workplace, in business, and even in some relationships, as weird as it is. When men have an attempt or they try to humble you, they will do that by trying to compare you to other women. See, when a man is insecure and he feels threatened by you, yes, you have weird scenarios where men feel threatened by women. He will do everything in his power to humble you. It is his personal mission to make sure you understand that you are not that smart, you are not that cute, and there's somebody out there better than you. Only a jealous, insecure man feels the need to humble a woman and make her feel like she is less than. But that is what jealous men do. They will compare you to other women all because they feel intimidated by whatever you're doing or whatever you're saying. Let's use the scenario as in the workplace. If you're dealing with a jealous male coworker and he sees that you're doing a great job and you're trying to inform him on something, well, he will tell you, well, yeah, Susie, she's been doing this for 5 years, so she's already told me everything I need to know. Or I've been here for 5 years. I already know all of this. You see, men who are jealous and insecure, they feel the need to constantly one-up you in every situation they get into. They cannot let you have anything because that would be a threat against his intellect. So once again, jealous men like to compare you with other women. Now let's take it to relationships. You have some men who know they have a fine woman. No, they have an accomplished woman. No, they have an intelligent, a smart woman. And because of that, they feel the need to humble her. They remind her that, yeah, you're doing this, but somebody else is doing it better in their eyes. Let's say, for instance, you tell your boyfriend that, I just got my degree. I just got my degree. I'm thinking I'm going to get a master's degree and all of that. And they tell you something to the effect that, do you think you really could do that? You kind of struggled through getting your bachelor's. You really want to do that? They try to get you to doubt yourself. And then let's say you're giving them information about something and they say, yeah, my mom already told me that. My cousin already told me that. She works at a hospital. She works at the doctor's office. She knows. I don't give a flying fig tree where she works. That has nothing to do with what I'm telling you. You have some men who are like that. They just want you to know that you don't know as much as you think you know. If you know, you know. There are some men who are that level of petty who just want to bring you down a notch. They might say things like, what are you, a scientist? What are you, a doctor now? What are you, whatever it is that you're saying, they just have to throw in some little joke or some remark to try to get you and remind you that you're not that smart. Now, I'm not saying there won't be times where, you'll say something funny. I'm not talking about joking between yourself and your boyfriend, husband, fiance, whoever. I'm talking about when it's their nature to constantly bring you down a notch in order to get you to understand or to feel that you are not that smart. I don't know what it is with men and the intellectual thing, especially men. Actually, I do know. Because women are going back to school and getting advanced degrees quicker than many other people, men tend to feel intimidated by that, especially when they're a man who did not take the time, nor do they have to, but they didn't take the time to advance themselves. And if they're dealing with a woman who has advanced degrees, advanced knowledge, look, you could have YouTube internet, knowledge. You could have graduated from a YouTube course and you just know some stuff. You like to learn. That's the point I'm making. If you're a woman who likes to learn and you're dealing with a man who has a few screws loose, he will think anything you say that sounds a little bit scientific, a little bit deep, he will take little pot shots at that and say, oh, so what are you, a scientist now? Oh, you think you know more than me now? That might not have anything to do with what you're saying, but because of his insecurities, and you have to remember this, when a man is jealous of a woman, when he takes little shots at you, it's all because of his insecurity within himself. And in actuality, That's not your problem, because if a man is too lazy to advance himself, he shouldn't try to hold you back. But yet you have many men who deal with that jealousy and envy. Instead of saying, you know what, I don't know this, educate me, they prefer to make you look dumb. I just have to say how it was coming to me. Some men truly get a kick out of making women look and feel stupid. It is their mission in life when they are jealous of the woman. And ladies, what you don't want to do is feel like you have to be dumb as doorknobs in order to relate to the man that you're speaking to. That's why for me, I've always felt like I needed to deal with a man who can formulate a sentence without using slang. There's nothing wrong with dealing with the man, the hood way, the street kind of guy, if he speaks in more slang terms, but he should be able to hold a conversation without that. Because what'll happen, especially if you're the kind of woman who has advanced knowledge and you speak, like, as they say, more proper, if you're dealing with a man like that, and this is a real scenario, this is a real situation that I have dealt with, not in my marriage, thankfully, because my husband matches my intellect, but when I was dating and those kind of things, which I didn't do much of, the guy that I was dealing with at the time, he would say things to me like, oh, well, you think you better than me because you're talking about this stuff, because you're going there? Because at the time I was in the military and I was pursuing college too. And I would talk, I forget exact conversation, but I was talking to him about some things and he was just like, okay, so you telling me all this for what? Like, he had that kind of mentality. Anytime I talked about something that was like advancement or possibly me, doing something greater, he suddenly got an attitude. And that's how you can also tell when a man feels threatened by you. He not only compares you, but his energy completely shifts. When a man feels threatened by a woman, especially in a relationship, he will get more distant from her. He will begin to treat you like you are a stranger. He will treat you like you did something wrong to him by wanting to do better for yourself. I understand it's very weird, and I hope that none of you have to experience that, but I believe that many women deal with this kind of thing, and they don't want to say it because you really can't pinpoint what it is. When a man is jealous, insecure, and feels threatened by his woman, he will get distant, and that's when the comparison starts. He will compare you, and any man who is silly enough to compare his woman to his ex, he needs to be by himself. He will say things to you like, oh, well, my ex, yes, she went to school and she went to work and did all these things too. Like, that's a flex because you're a woman, and this is another enemy of the man who is jealous. When you have expectations, that man will absolutely get jealous and envious of you. But that's for another video. But back to the comparison. When he compares you to his ex and tells you all the things she used to do for him, all the ways she used to be. Well, my question would be, if she was all of that, why is she your ex? You know what I mean? So men try to do that kind of thing and use it as a flex when that person might have been so good, that's why they got rid of him. So you really have to think about the kind of man you're with and even examine some of his past relationships. Believe it or not, when a man tries to get you to believe that the woman is always the problem, it is not always true. And sometimes men don't understand that their inability to be happy for the woman in their life and not feel threatened and feel like their manhood is threatened because a woman is doing well, that is what stifles a lot of relationships. No woman wants to deal with a man that she has to hold herself back with because it's going to make him feel uncomfortable because she's doing well or trying to advance in some way. It's a very weird dynamic. But when a man sees you doing all of that, he will compare you to anybody he can think of. He'll compare you to the woman up the street. Oh, yes, so-and-so, she works out. I see her running and jogging all the time, that kind of thing. You might say something, and this is another thing you have to watch out for with jealous men. When you say something or you feel self-conscious, a jealous man will not try to take you out of that self-conscious state. He will do his best to keep you in it. So back to the fitness scenario. Let's say you're not feeling too good about yourself at the moment. You feel like you picked up a little bit of weight and you say something to the effect that, I feel like I need to lose a couple pounds, and I've told you in previous videos, don't talk about this too much with your man. But if you bring it up, I feel like I need to lose a little bit of weight, not really feeling too good, feeling sluggish. I feel like I need to work out. Instead of him being the kind of husband, boyfriend, whoever he needs to be, and saying something like, oh, that'd be nice if you want to work out, or, you really don't need to work out, but if you want to, he'll compare you to the woman up the street or whoever and say, yeah, I saw her jogging down the street. Yeah, she goes to the gym. She looked like she work out a lot. It's like those little kind of things where they try to just prick at your insecurities. Men who are jealous will take things that you don't like about yourself and use it against you. And that's where, when you're in a relationship, you want to have that trust, but you have to make sure you're trusting the right person that will not take your insecurities and take the things that you feel self-conscious about and throw it back in your face. But when a man is jealous and envious, he will throw your insecurities and the things you feel self-conscious about right back in your face. You will know that you're dealing with a jealous man when you get upset or he gets upset with you and he brings up something very hurtful that you don't feel good about yourself and he throws it in your face. That is a jealous and miserable, insecure man. So the jealousy of a man cuts a lot deeper than what a woman does, in my opinion, because when men have jealousy toward women, not only is it unnatural because he's shifting the dynamic. See, if a man really understood that there's a difference between man and woman, there would be no room for a man to be jealous of a woman because he would understand, like I've said before, that men and women complement one another. But when a man doesn't understand that, he has to compare you to other women in order to get you to feel self-conscious about yourself. He will use your own insecurities and the way you feel about you against you. And that's why you have to be mindful of who and what you're entertaining. Take your time when you are dealing with men. When you are vetting men, when you are dating, you want to make sure you're dealing with a man who is secure. And it's not to say that everybody, even men, have insecurities, but those insecurities should not be so deeply rooted that now he's coming at you because he feels inadequate as a man. And that's what you see when men try to put other women against one another. Yes, there's a lot of that within, between women against one another, but a lot of times men instigate that, especially in relationships. When a man is threatened by your intellect or your advancement, he will bring up mom, auntie, sister, cousin, friend, neighbor, whoever to try to get you to feel bad about yourself. He might even make comments about your looks. You might not like, the way your arms look or the way your hair looks or whatever. And he'll constantly talk about how pretty, how beautiful, Susie's hair is. How Betty, she always looks so nice and put together. That's a completely weird thing that I never really understood why a man would do that. Like if you truly love and adore your woman, to be jealous of her to the point and so insecure that you want to throw another woman in her face. And I have to say this, some of you ladies are a little too nice because I'm just going to say it the way it's coming to me. You have to have a little bit fear instilled into your man. And I know some people, that's not going to sit right with some people, but it is what it is. You should know if you've watched this channel any length of time, I don't care. You should have a little fear instilled into your man enough to where he's not going to talk to you about certain things. That's just the way it is. And when I say fear, I don't mean fear like you think. I mean respect. Your man should respect you so much so that he's not going to overly discuss another woman's positive attributes in front of you. That's not about you being insecure. That's about him respecting you as a man. So if he feels completely comfortable being in awe of another woman in front of you, that man doesn't respect you. Now, I'm not saying a mutual conversation because there have been things that I've brought up. I talked about different things to my husband about her hair looks really good. Like, I don't know what she's doing lately. And he'll be talking like, oh yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, it looks nice. And next thing you know, I'm not talking about that. I mean, if he randomly brings up how good another woman looks, that man is trying to make you feel jealous and insecure, and that's not someone you need to deal with. So that comparison that men like to do in an attempt to humble you, That's the kind of man you really want to stay away from. Not only is he jealous and intimidated and threatened by you, he's trying to prick into your confidence so that you can feel less than, so that he can feel greater than as a man. And any man who wants a woman to feel small so he can feel big is not a man that you need to deal with. All right? Like and subscribe to the channel and share this content. Hit the notification bell so that you're aware when I post a brand new video. If you watch this video until the very end, put the high heel emoji in the comment section. I absolutely love to see it. Take care.